Hello and welcome to today's webinar. We're going to wait just a minute or so to see if any other ones are available to join. So we'll wait just a minute and we'll get started. Well, Matthew, if you're the only one that joined us, you're gonna win the lucky lottery number. So you get one-on-one interaction with us, and we'll just have an informal conversation about this our offerings here. So good job, Matthew. You won the prize today. You get to talk to us. So we'll go ahead and get started. We'll run through these, and if you have any questions, we want this to be as informal as possible. Feel free to ask questions. We've got some time allotted at the end of the webinar to answer your questions directly, but feel free when Brittany and I are talking, just to say, hey, I got a question about that. That's no problem. Today's webinar is about the Information Technology Graduate Programs. I'm Bill Riles. I'm the Associate Director and one of your professors in the IT program once you get started. I'm excited to serve as one of the hosts today. Joining me is Brittany Yandel, and you'll hear from more a little bit later. As I mentioned, this webinar is designed to be interactive. You can chat with us by using the Zoom chat function at the bottom of your screen. You can type it in the chat, or if you want to, just unmute yourself and just ask a question. We'll be happy to discuss that as well. As I mentioned, we got some time scheduled at the end just for Q&A, but we can do it at any time. Joining me today is Brittany Yandel, who will be your academic advisor as you enroll and get started and work your way through the program. You'll hear from her a little bit later. So let me just tell you a little bit about SOPA. You hear that term SOPA, that's the School of Professional Advancement. Some are, you may be familiar, Matthew, with, Tulane and some of the history, but I want to highlight some of the things that I think is important about our school, SOPA, that goes back for a very long time. The School of Professional Advancement is catered towards working adults and the applied learning that we give. We are highly diverse. We've got students from all walks of life and age ranges from 18 right out of high school up into the 70s. Like I said earlier, our school goes back really far in history. The university was founded in 1834. The predecessor to SOPA was formed in 1886. It started out as an outreach mission to offer classes to teachers. Ever since then, it's been in various iterations and changes of the school. It was named at University College in 1942, and after Hurricane Katrina, it was named the School of Continuing Studies. And most recently, in 2017, it was named SOPA. That's what we have today, the School of Professional Advancement. What I want to highlight that Tulane, the wider university system of Tulane is quite unique as far as an elite private university having this kind of a long-term commitment towards applied learning that's relevant to the workplace. So let's talk about why SOPA. In higher education today, you've got access to more options than ever. There, especially with after the pandemic, online learning is really come to the forefront. You got access to all kind of schools and some really great universities out there. So why choose Tulane SOPA? There's a few things you're going to hear about in this webinar. Some is the depth and online. We've been doing online before online was cool. Before the pandemic, we started online classes. We spent a lot of time, effort, and money building some really great online classes. I'm gonna highlight some of the stuff and coming up. We hired expert instructional designers to work alongside our quality faculty and subject matter experts and graphic designers to really build an awesome experience to your online education. And I want to highlight our programs and faculty. Our programs are purposely built for industry, purposely built to get you a job, take you to the next level of advancement, especially these graduate programs. Because there's one thing to get a degree, and everybody wants to do that and have that academic success, but the majority of students, especially working adults, You want to get that higher level advanced degree for a reason. You want promotions in your workforce. You want to have new opportunities, and you want to change what you're doing and rise up the ladder. So our programs were devised with that thought in mind. We went out to a industry advisory board. These are executives at Google, at Microsoft, at Red Hat, at former CIOs of large state agencies, the former CIO of the Department of Defense, very, very high level individuals that have been CIOs, been technology executives, been CISOs out there in the workforce. And we ask them, what type of skills do you need our graduates to have? What do you want when you hire someone? And we took that feedback. So the program, the faculty is built around this in mind. It's a very applied focus. So the things you learn in class can take right back to the skills to the workplace. And most of my students in my classes, I love it when they come back and say, hey, Dr. Rouse, this thing we talked about last week in class, I went and did that at work, and I got praised for it. Or I had a conversation with my peers or a conversation with my superiors, and I let them know about some of the things that we were doing in class, and it rose my value. I love hearing that, because the things we talk about is not just theoretical. It's not just a thought process in theory, which is great for academic education, but we combine the academic education with the applied. We put it in a pot and bolt it together. So it's a mixture of applied learning and academic learning as well. And, just a highlight about student support. You can hear Brittany talk about this a little bit later, but you're not just, you're part of the Tulane family, the Tulane Sopa family. You're not just thrown into a classroom and say, all right, good luck. I hope it works out well for you. You become part of the family. There's an entire plethora of support services to help you become successful, in your academic career, in your professional career, and all things involved. I can go on and on and on about this, but just to highlight it, you have quality academic advising. You have access to a career counselor to help you with your resume and LinkedIn and interviewing skills. You got access to internship and job opportunities. In our program, the IT program, we are contacted by national and regional organizations all over the place. Hey, I'm looking for this type of individual. I'm looking for a leader in my new program. I'm looking for a leader in my new location. Can you recommend someone? And we are continually recommending students to go out for internships and for actual job placements. And not only that, every time we hear from our industry partners, say, hey, send us some of your graduates, send us some of your students. We flood you with these opportunities. In other student support, there you get expert writing help from the Tulane Writing Center, and there's the Tulane libraries, the world-renowned library with millions of articles you have access to. I can go on and on and on about everything that's outside the classroom of this student support to make sure that you are successful. Just to touch on the affordability and flexibility. We talk about why Tulane, why Sopa. You may be aware that Tulane is an elite private university and actually a top 50 university in the nation. So the first thing you think about, Tulane is very expensive. Well, Tulane Sopa offers a surprisingly very affordable rate that's comparable to universities and options all across the world. You'd be surprised with the rates that we offer with this quality of education. And it's flexible because you can take as many classes as you like with your schedule. So you depending on your professional responsibilities or your work and family life, you may only want to do one class a semester. And next semester you may want to take 2 or 3. Maybe you want to go back to 1. You can do that. We don't have a very prescriptive nature in our program. So once you sign up, you have to take these 3 classes this semester and 4 classes the next semester. It's the flexibility is offered, and not only which classes you take, how many classes you take in semester. So you can get your degree very quickly, or you can kind of spread it out, and you have a choice of electives that you can take in any program, which will lead to a certificate or concentration. I have some examples coming up in a second. And lastly, just that Tulane shield. I mean, the name Tulane itself says enough, and just having that Tulane name on your resume will open many doors. I've had success stories from hundreds of my students that say, hey, I couldn't get this job opportunity. I never could get an interview. I graduated. I've got Tulane on my resume. Now I got that interview. So you put all those together, and it kind of gives you some of our differentiators, what makes us different in some other points. I'm gonna go into some detail in a little bit as we go on to the next slide, Eddie. So let's talk about online classes. In our graduate programs is 100% online. So all the classes are done online, and you have some flexibility there. But it's not, it's not the online of traditional. We have a lot of time and effort. These are very, very intense, very, very involved online classes where you will have regular interaction with your instructors and your other colleagues and peers. Myself and most of my other faculty colleagues that will be your instructors have attended classes while working as an adult. I started my academic career as a working adult, had a full-time family, full-time job, and all kind of responsibilities. And on top of that, I started becoming a full-time student. So this program was built around that. I've been there. I know what you were going through as an adult student. So the classes are built around it, and the structure is built around that flexibility that you may need. It wasn't until I was probably in my late 30s working on my first graduate degree that I learned to love taking classes, because I could directly apply what I was learning to the professional career and in my life. There's a few things that I want to talk about in our online classes. You'll have access to your materials and lectures. Everything's in right that you will need will be right in front of you. We use a learning management system, Canvas, so it'll have a calendar of all the assignments when everything is due. As I mentioned before, just because it's online, it's not a correspondence course. So you're not going to get thrown into an online class and just kind of work through by yourself. It's highly engaged. So you'll have in the discussion boards, you will constantly interact with your faculty and your other students, and you'll actually build relationships. And there are online meetings using Zoom like you are right now. You'll come to a Zoom class and you'll listen to your instructor. You'll do group activities with your other students and work through a lot of scenarios there. And you'll work on some labs and some technical activities depending on what class it is. The point I wanted to make is that just because it's an online class, it's not what you would think a typical online class would be. It's highly engagement. You'll make friends for life, and you build those networking relationships with your peers and your instructors. All right, let's talk about the programs. More about the online study right here, online classes. Just to give you a talk before, we really spent a lot of time and effort building these classes. This kind of gives you the idea of how much time and effort we spend into this. Tulane Sopa has built over 1,300, almost 1,400 students have been through our online coursework last year. We've got 8 master's degrees, 11 graduate certificates, 4 post-bac, and over 300 courses developed to be taught online. Not just a course that we put online. These are courses was developed with the intent of being offered online. And there's over 200 faculty that's been expertly trained on delivering online education and the best way to give it to you as a student. Let's go on to the next slide, please. Let's talk about our programs of study. So what this means, we have in the graduate program, you can major in an IT management degree or an IT cybersecurity management. So cybersecurity management or information technology management. And we have an array of certificates. I'll get into that in a second, but just depending on which path you choose, let me tell you a little bit about how we develop these programs. When we put these programs together, I mentioned earlier our industry advisory board. We went out to this industry advisory board. We also went out to employers, people who are actually hiring graduates, and talked to them. We talked to current students, we talked to alumni, we talked to faculty, and we talked to our industry advisory board and said, okay, if we're going to redevelop, do something really different and innovative that in an academic program that brings high quality education, not only to achieve the degree, but also the technical skills needed in the workplace. What does this program need to consist of? What classes do we need to take? What needs to be in the classes? What labs? So we took all that information, and that's how we developed these quality programs. A master's in IT management, a master's in cybersecurity management, and also a bunch of different certificates you can take along the way. So you have dedicated faculty teaching your class, and this faculty, and we'll talk about these guys in just a second, but these aren't folks that are lifelong academics that can just write a paper about something and teach it in a class. These are former CIOs and executives. These online courses can be can be taken geographically anywhere. You know, at work, you're not limited to the New Orleans area. That's really awesome. Before that, all the classes at the high quality Tulane University was limited to the local New Orleans area. Now you can take these online classes anywhere in your local area. So in both the graduate and even undergraduate as well, you can specialize in certain things. And I'm gonna talk about that in just a second. We can go to the next slide, please. So all these different options, I keep talking about that. We've got all these different options and areas. So one program, many options. So let's just talk about the graduate programs right here. I mentioned two main options is the MPS in information technology or a master's degree in cybersecurity management, IT management or cybersecurity management. Inside of there, I'm looking at the left-hand screen of this slide, you've got options in your concentration. So you have required courses, then elective courses. Your choice of electives can lead to a concentration or lead to a certificate, depending on which one you would need. An example would be if you're not really sure if you want to go cybersecurity management or IT management, you can major in IT management but have a concentration in cybersecurity, kind of have best of both worlds. If you're really interested in homeland security or emergency operations, you can have a concentration in those in either the IT management or the cybersecurity management. Now there's also, let's talk about these certificates. These are also 100% online. And here's some certificates we offer: cyber defense, cyber leadership, cyber technology fundamentals. I'll highlight that one in just a second. IT strategic planning and technical architecture. The neat thing about these certificates, your choice of electives will lead you towards one of these certificates, but these are also stackable. So you can enroll and start off with one of these certificates and take the required courses that you need to get a certificate in cyber defense or maybe IT strategic planning. But the cool thing about it, these courses are also some of the courses you're going to need to work towards your master's degree. So as you go along the way, you can knock out a certificate and then keep going and then eventually end up with your master's degree, or you can start taking your required courses and towards the end, figure out what courses you need to plug in to get a certificate. We always recommend students do that. We always recommend students leave when you graduate, not only with your master's degree, but either have a concentration, that way you can show some diversity, or have at least one or maybe two certificates along the way too. A graduate certificate and that degree really helps your portfolio. All right, so I said I was going to talk about the cyber technology fundamental certificate. This is really awesome. There is some requirements before you get admitted into the master's degree, and we'll talk about those in a second. But we had a lot of applicants applied to our program, but unfortunately could not get admitted into the program. And the number one reason why they couldn't get admitted was because of the lack of a technology background, lack of an undergraduate technology degree, or a lack of IT industry experience. So what this bridge program, this certificate does is for anyone that has a degree in anything. If you have a degree in business or music or biology or anything that's not IT, but you want to get into the IT field, this certificate program is for you. It is 18 credit hours, 6 courses, and it covers the fundamentals of information technology. Classes like IT fundamentals, application development, database, network, cybersecurity, all these fundamental elements. Now, what happens once you complete this bridge program, two things will happen. Number one, you'll get the cyber technologies graduate certificate. It is a graduate certificate from Tulane. That by itself is worth something. Additionally, by completing this program, even though you don't have an undergraduate in IT, this will give you the ability to apply and get accepted into the full master's degree program. So this is a prerequisite. If you work through the cyber technology graduate certificate and you pass all the courses with a B or better, you will be fast tracked as far as admittance into the full master's program. So this is for anyone who does not have that background in IT. So let's move on to the next. So just to highlight the SOPA difference again, is some of the things that I've said as I was kind of giving you a 10,000-foot overview. Tulane's surprisingly affordable. Now I'll say Tulane SOPA is surprisingly affordable. Check out our rates, how they compare. We're a top 50 university. The faculty are current technology executives. These people are out in the field, out in industry, doing their work today, and most of them are hiring managers for major corporations. We have some mentorship programs. One I'm especially proud is the Women in Tech mentorship program. We have a top level national advisory board. The programs were built around different perspectives, a governance, a leadership, and technical. So when you take these classes, some of the classes will be very focused on the business end of it. What does it mean to communicate with a business? A lot of it's going to be focused on how to communicate. Many IT professionals have a hard time communicating non-technical concepts to technical concepts to a non-technical audience, which sometimes stalls the IT projects. Most IT professionals are like me. We're geeks in nature. We can turn all the nerd knobs. We can do all kind of fun stuff, but no one ever taught us how to do business things and communicate with the business. So a lot of the classes are focused on that, but also some of the classes are very technical. So it's a combination of all three: the governance, the leadership, and the technical acumen as well. Labs. Most of all our technical classes are very hands-on. You're not just going to read about, if you're in the cybersecurity program, you're not going to read about how someone would hack a password. You're actually going to do that. You're going to do the exercises and break into some computers and break into some web servers, and very, very practical. If you're in the IT management program, you're going to design technical architectures. You're going to do the real things, hands-on lab activities. I mentioned earlier, it's a combined academic and applied curriculum. Here's something that's really cool. Every semester we offer at least one elective course that leads to a industry level certification. Because we get asked the question a lot: should I go for a college degree, or should I go get an IT cert like a CompTIA Network Plus, or an AWS certification? Our answer is both. And the cool thing about it, you can take one of your courses as an elective, and the entire course is dedicated towards you passing that exam. Say the Network Plus or Cloud Plus, or an AWS, Cloud, one of those industry leading certifications. The entire course is dedicated towards you passing that particular industry exam. And the cool thing about it, we'll give you an exam voucher to go out and take it. And 90% of our students who take those classes get the exam voucher, go sit for the exam, and pass. So so you can leave with by the time you graduate, you can leave with a graduate degree, which is top notch, a graduate certificate, maybe a concentration, and also an industry technology certification as well. You can enroll with no GREs required. There's some other requirements, we'll get into that, but no GRE. And we talked about the certificates and the online model for our classrooms. So let's get into the faculty here. Now, I really recommend you go out to this page here at the bottom, sopa.tulane.edu/about Sopa/advisors faculty staff, and look at our program. If that's too much to think about, just go to sopa.tulane.edu/IT, and it takes you to the IT page. You can look at the faculty there. I really recommend you take a few minutes, go out and look at our faculty. Every one of our faculty members has a full bio of what their job titles are, what they've done in the industry, and what some of the advanced degrees they have. Here's just a random sampling. Our faculty is very diverse, and you can see we've got CISOs, we got agile coaches, we got CTOs, we got digital forensics. Michelle, she's a digital forensics consultant nationwide. All walks of life, experts that have done this in the field. All right, let's go to this. So this is, we talk about, well, what if I get my graduate degree in IT or cybersecurity? What kind of jobs can I get? Now, one thing I want to say that this is not an all-inclusive list. The technology jobs, they're always changing, and the names are always changing, but this kind of gives you an idea of the type of jobs that you would get once you complete a graduate degree in technology. Now, we would love to say you graduate with your master's degree in IT management, you automatically going to become a CIO. That's the goal. And some of our students have. Some of our students have graduated and walked out to the field and got their dream CIO jobs. But some work their way up. So a degree is not a guaranteed job placement, but it does help you along the way. These are some of the jobs that our students and graduates have achieved. and the type of jobs. On the IT management side, on the left-hand side, you're looking for the director, the leader of an IT department, IT director, the CIOs, data quality managers, enterprise architects, chief technology officers, support managers, data center directors, that type of role. That's what we're training you to be. On the cybersecurity management side, what you're looking for is the CISO, the Chief Information Security Officer role. But also there's a lot of, you can become a security analyst, engineer, and a security architect, some things like that, some DevOps and security sec type situations. So that's what we're looking for. There's no, if we put every possible IT job that could be available, that we would fill up this whole screen. You couldn't read it, but this kind of give you an idea of the type of jobs that the industry is looking at, and it's a growing industry as well. Okay. So with that, I'm gonna take a break and breathe and turn it over to my colleague Brittany to talk about all this student support and how to get you started.
Thanks, Bill. All right, so student support and success, as Bill mentioned earlier, we have a lot of support in place for you as a Tulane student. Kind of the first line of support is the academic advisor, who would be me. I would be working with you as your academic advisor. What that means is I would help you with pretty much anything, any questions that you have that you're not really sure who to turn to or who to ask. You can kind of start with me and I can direct you to whoever you need to go to. I will also help you with registration, with course planning, with filing for graduation once the time comes. So kind of the technical side of the degree. As Bill also mentioned, we have expert faculty. So, you right off the bat get started out with a lot of people that are in the field that you have direct access to. You're taking classes with them. So you have a lot of success, support and success on that front. You've got people looking out for you every time we see jobs come up in the area or, interesting workshops that might be available. These things are shared with the students, readily and quickly. So a lot of support there. As Bill also mentioned, you do have a career advisor. Her name is Cynthia Washington, and she can work with you on mock interviews, building your resume, pretty much anything in terms of career, getting prepped for interviews, things of that nature. Now, you would also want to consult with Bill and with the program director, Ralph, and with the faculty for, other types of career advice as well. If you have specific questions about industries that maybe one of your faculty members is directly in at the moment, things like that. But we also have this person, Cynthia, who is here for you for, building the resume and doing the more technical side of things as well. So that's just to say that you've kind of got support on all sides of things, kind of everywhere you turn. And once you graduate, we also have a huge alumni network. So the Tulane Alumni Network is really great. Once you graduate, you can jump on we have an online portal for you, and you can jump on and, see what jobs might be available in North Carolina, if that's where you're looking to go, and who's there and who you can get connected with. And it's a really, really great network of people. So again, lots of supports as a Tulane student. Credits for prior learning. So a lot of students do come to this degree program with a lot of background in the field already. Maybe they've been working in the field for quite some time. So there are some opportunities to get credit for that prior learning. So, if you've worked in a specific area that you think you are an expert in and you can get course credit for that, what you'll do is you'll take a class that kind of teaches you how to build the portfolio to earn the credit. And then from there, you put the portfolio together on your time, and then you turn the portfolio in and you can get course credit for that. You can earn up to 6 credits, which is 2 courses. And it kind of depends. So the course that you get the credit for depends on the background that you're coming with. So you would work with me, you would work with Ralph and Bill to kind of figure out what your background is and what course that might match to. And then you would work to build a portfolio for that. If that's something that you're interested in, we can talk a little bit more about it. Applying is very, very easy. The application is pretty short, pretty straightforward. There is usually a $50 graduate application fee, but that will be waived for you because you attended today, Matthew. The application does require a written statement. So, you can that'll be a little bit more to think about, but the actual, straight application is very quick, very simple. Upload your photo ID, get that rolling, work on your personal statement in the meantime. You do need to get transcripts sent in, which is also a really quick process, but it's something that you do kind of want to get started right away. You can send your transcripts. I'll put the address in the chat that you can send that to, but it's soparecords@tulane.edu. So kind of the first thing you want to do is get that kind of quick application underway, get your government ID uploaded, get your transcripts going. Your application fee will be waived. So if you have any questions during this process, please feel free to reach out. But again, it's very short, very simple and straightforward. So graduate application requirements. So you do need to have a BA or a BS degree in either math, computer information systems, computer science, information sciences, or statistics. You can have a BA without a computing major, but you do have to have significant computing coursework or 3 to 5 years of professional experience. So as you apply, we will take into account your experience. You'll be asked to upload a resume as well. So all of these things will be taken into account in your application. You do need to have a GPA of 3.0 or higher on a 4.0 scale. And as mentioned, you do need to upload a resume or a CV. So application deadlines for spring, it's January 1st. So you do have a couple, about 8 or 9 more weeks to get that in. So plenty of time. For summer, the application deadline will be May 15th. And then for fall, that's August 1st. So tuition, Bill mentioned earlier about how affordable this program is compared to others like it. So tuition for graduates is about $1,000 per credit. So you're looking at a little over $3,000 per course. Each course is 3 credits. There is financial aid available. So as a Tulane student, you are assigned a specific financial aid advisor. And I'd be more than happy to connect you with that person if you have specific financial aid questions. But financial aid is available. The types of aid would be federal grants, federal loans. We do have a 20% tuition discount for active duty military, veterans, teachers, and first responders. We also do have a couple of scholarships available. So again, I'd be more than happy to speak with you more about that. We are also offering an early enrollment scholarship for the first time. So if you register by the dates listed on the screen, you do qualify for a $500 scholarship, which is pretty significant. So for spring, you would need to register by December 1st. So registration opens on November 9th. So you would want to get registered sometime between November 9th and December 1st. There's still plenty of time to get your application in and have an application decision made in that time, but we would want to get moving on that. So definitely let me know if you have any questions. For summer, that scholarship deadline is May 1st. And for fall, that's June 1st. So again, you would need to be registered by these dates, and you would be given a $500 scholarship towards your tuition for that semester. If you have any questions, this is Ralph's contact info, and I'm going to put my contact information in the chat as well. Feel free to reach out to me or to Bill or to Ralph, to any of us with any questions that you might have. And if there's anything that you would like to talk about right now, Matthew, please feel free to ask us.
I guess you covered everything really well, Brittany.
And I'm putting, Matthew, I'm sending the transcripts, the email address that you can send your transcripts to in the chat.
Yeah, if you have any questions, Matthew, we can guide you through that. If not, you can always email us, and we'll happily answer your questions. Let me pop my email in the chat as well.
Yep, any questions at all? We're all usually pretty prompt on email responses, especially. So, night or day, if you have any questions at all, please feel free to contact us, and we'd be more than happy to help you with this process. All right, thank you so much for coming today. Thank you.
Yep, thank you very much.